36 damage, 72 damage, and then we should jump to 128, although it says 129. I don't know why it says that. But regardless, we should have 128 to 129 damage. Press the attack has only contributed to 20 damage this game. However, the rune counter says, press the attack has done 40 bonus damage. The press the attack tells me I've done 40 bonus damage, when in reality I've only done 20 bonus damage to Mr. Target Dummy here. I've done 1946 of my damage has been converted to true damage, with 1011 of that damage going through armor. But we're going to give press the attack the benefit of the doubt. Let's say press the attack matched the converted damage from Conqueror. So let's say press the attack did 1946 bonus physical damage in a 15-minute game so far, right? 1011 of that would have been lost to armor, right? Because 1011 is the bonus damage we gained that went through armor with Conqueror. 1011 of that would have been lost to armor with the press the attack bonus damage, which means in reality, we only would have done, 935 actual damage with press the attack to enemy champion. And Willie's no mathematician here, but I can tell you right now, Mr. Conqueror here, 1011 is a lot bigger than 935. This rune gets its value from anybody over 100 armor. Anybody with over 100 armor, Conqueror will get more value than press the attack. If anybody in the game stacks more than 100 armor, builds any sort of armor item. This includes Zonias on mid laners, Ninja Tabbies on anybody, any sort of tank, any sort of like support that builds Aegis of the Legion, because Aegis of the Legion or Locket of the Iron Solari gives you 30 armor if you didn't know. Anybody that builds any sort of armor, Conqueror will get more value than press the attack every single time. Yo, what's going on, boys? Willie P here. Super excited to bring you today's video, which is honestly going to be a different type of video. I'm going to be the first to say this. This video is probably going to be boring for a lot of you guys. This is not a gameplay video. This is me explaining why I think Conqueror is so broken and why press the attack is so is a lot weaker than Conqueror. And so basically, a lot of people have been expressing their desire, to I guess desire is not the right word, but people want to hear a proper explanation of the rune, the numbers behind it. And a lot of you guys are like, Willie, you don't know what you're talking about. Conqueror doesn't, the mitigated damage is the only damage that matters. Well, I'm here to, basically clear up any confusion you guys have and explain to you why I think it's so broken. So without further ado, let's just go on and hop on in. So as you can see, I'm in a practice tool here. I've got my good friend Target Dummy helping me today. And basically the big thing I want you guys to understand, the thing that a lot of people don't understand, is the fact that press the attack does not do bonus true damage. It does bonus physical damage, whereas Conqueror converts your true damage, or converts a percentage of your overall damage to true damage. And what that means is, yes, if you think about it, press the attack gives you more bonus damage, but a lot of the times that bonus damage doesn't mean, like Conqueror, the true damage that it converts actually does more than the bonus damage, because theoretically, Conqueror doesn't give you any bonus damage, right? Which is where a lot of people are like, Willie, you don't know what you're talking about. The mitigated damage is the only damage that matters. So I've got a few illustrations to point that out. So if we look at Mr. Level 1 Udyr here, we have 72 attack damage, which means if I auto attack somebody with 0 armor, I would do 72 points of damage to them per auto attack, right? But however, if we look at Mr. Target Dummy, if we look at the top left, Mr. Target Dummy has 100 armor. Which means if I auto attack him, if you didn't know, if you have 100 armor, that means you do exactly 50% reduced physical damage to them. So if I attack Mr. Target Dummy, instead of doing, 72 points of damage, I will instead do what? 36 points of damage? Yeah, 36. Quick maths. Right? So we did 36 points of damage to that. See that? We're doing 50% reduced physical damage to him. Right? So that means, if you didn't know already, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm taking press the attack in this game, which means, at level 1, press the attack, the on-hit proc, which means if I auto-attack a person, somebody 3 times, the on-hit proc will do 40 adaptive damage. And since I'm Tiger Udyr without any ability power, that means I'm going to do 40 bonus physical damage. And what that means, is instead of doing 40 bonus physical damage, I'm actually only going to do 20 damage to Mr. Target Dummy because he has 100 armor and I'm doing 50% less damage to him. right? So if I auto attack this guy, I'm gonna explain what's gonna happen here. Each auto attack is gonna do 36 attack damage since he has 100 armor. So I'm gonna do 36 damage on the first auto attack, 72 damage on the second auto attack, and then 108 damage on the third auto attack, plus the 20 bonus press the attack damage. So I should come out to exactly 128 damage on Mr. Target Dummy. So let's see what happens, right? 36 damage, 72 damage, and then we should jump to 128, although it says 129. I don't know why it says that. But regardless, we should have 128 to 129 damage. Press the attack has only contributed to 20 damage this game. However, the rune counter says, you know, press the attack has done 40 bonus damage, right? You see what I'm trying to get at, boys? I hope this illustration points something out. The press the attack tells me I've done 40 bonus damage, when in reality I've only done 20 bonus damage to Mr. Target Dummy here, right? Physical damage is not true damage. You know what I mean? And so I've got a few more illustrations. What we're going to do is I'm going to exit the game, pull up a screenshot from yesterday's video. If you guys haven't seen already, I released a, I wasn't removed from the party. I removed you from the party. How about that, man? But yesterday I released a video talking about how Conqueror is broken on Udyr. And so here's a screenshot from this video. This is in the first, I don't know, like 15 seconds of the video. I took a screenshot of me checking the Conqueror's damage. So after I killed the Cho'Gath in yesterday's video, right, I've done 1946 of my damage has been converted to true damage, with 1011 of that damage going through armor. So what this second number here, this 1011, what that means is I basically got a bonus damage of 1011 damage because, you know, because like, you know what I mean? Like, basically that's the damage that went through armor, and that's the number that matters. You know, a lot of you guys yesterday are saying, hey, Willie, I don't think you understand the mitigated damage is the only damage that matters. True. I agree with you on that. That's the only damage that truly matters. But one thing I want to pull up is I've got my notepad here where I'm gonna basically, you know, I'm gonna try and explain a few things to you guys. So let me pull it back up here. So as we just established, so what I've got here is I've got a T-chart, right? So let's say in one game I ran Press the Attack, and in the other game I ran Conqueror. And let's say, just based off that screenshot, let's say Conqueror in that screenshot converted 1946 of my damage to true damage, with 1011 of damage of that going through armor, which means technically I only got, it's not even technically, truthfully, I only got 1011 actual damage gained. So let's say I played the exact same game and at the exact same timestamp. By the way, if you didn't know, this screenshot, you can't really see because all the stuff in the top right here, but this screenshot happened at 15 minutes of the game. I can tell you right now, Press the Attack would have never done 1900 damage at 15 minutes. Just straight up, like, I've never seen Press the Attack do that much damage at 15 minutes in. But we're going to give Press the Attack the benefit of the doubt. Let's say Press the Attack matched the converted damage from Conqueror. So let's say, you know, Press the Attack did 1946 bonus physical damage in a 15-minute game so far, right? However, the thing you got to understand, pardon me here, I got like a frog in my throat if you can't tell. 1011 of that would have been lost to armor, right? Because 1011 is the bonus damage we gained that went through armor with Conqueror. 1011 of that would have been lost to armor with the Press the Attack bonus damage, which means in reality, we only would have done, you know, 935 actual damage with Press the Attack to enemy champions, right? We just subtracted these two numbers, you know. And Willie's no mathematician here, but I can tell you right now, you know, Mr. Conqueror here, 1011 is a lot bigger than 935, right? And that's, like I said, I even gave Press the Attack the benefit of the doubt and said he'd be able to match Conqueror's damage, which I can tell you, I've been playing Conqueror nonstop over the past 2 days. Like, Conqueror has always converted more true damage than Press the Attack has ever given me on bonus damage, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is Conqueror would do a lot more damage. Now, there are a few key notes I want to point out here at the bottom here. So the first thing I want to say, let's just start with the second bullet point here. This rune gets its value from anybody over 100 armor. And what I'm trying to say here is basically 100 armor, as we established, is where that 50% damage reduction comes into place. Anybody with over 100 armor, Conqueror will get more value than Press the Attack. Just straight up. And what I mean by that is, like, in order for Conqueror, you know, in order for this example to work, and the reason I pulled up this example is because, you know, more than, you know, if you divide 1946 by 2, that comes out to be what? 975 just about. So if this 975 would have been the break even. So like, let's say this mitigated damage came down to 975, that would be the break even point where Press the Attack and Conqueror would have been even, right? So so beyond that, so anything below 975, which would have meant that Press the Attack actually would have done more damage, and anything over 975 means that Conqueror would have done more damage, right? I hope you guys are following along here. I hope this makes sense. So what I've got in the background, just trust me, if nothing else, just know anybody over 100 armor, Conqueror is a more valuable rune. That's the big takeaway if you didn't follow any of those ratios or whatever. So what I've got here is I've got pulled up a T chart. This is a chart of every champion, you know, their base armor, gross coefficients, and value at level 18. Now at level 18, I want you to notice every single champion has, generally speaking, between 80 and 90 damage. Or 80 and 90 armor, right? Anywhere in there. Some champions even go over 100. Some champions have under 80. But generally, the average is between 80 and 100 bonus or base armor at level 18. So what that means is if anybody in the game, where's this thing? No, the trackpad. If anybody in the game, you know, stacks more than 100 armor, builds any sort of armor item. This includes Zonias on mid laners, Ninja Tabbies on anybody. Any sort of tank, any sort of like support that builds Aegis of the Legion, because Aegis of the Legion or Locket of the Iron Solari gives you 30 armor if you didn't know. Anybody that builds any sort of armor, Conqueror will get more value than Press the Attack every single time. And I can tell you right now at high elo, there's a reason why people hate Ninja Tabbies. It's because a lot of ADCs build Ninja Tabbies because, you know, it gives them so much armor. Right? That's the thing you got to understand. So what I'm trying to say is anybody that builds armor would be more, Conqueror would be much more valuable than Press the Attack. Now, I know there's people out of there, Willie, these values are your level 18 values. You know what I mean? Like 90% of games don't go to level 18. Well, I can tell you right now, you know, by level 11, you know, those ADCs have built Ninja Tabby and the mid laners have built Zonias, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can tell you, you know, like, generally speaking, by mid-game, most people in the game will have more than 100 armor unless they're trolling and they go, like, Berserker Greaves on ADC or, like, the enemy support's building full damage or something like that, right? So, and the other thing I want to say, against super tanks, Conqueror obviously just shreds them. You know what I mean? Like, the majority of enemy teams, like, this is the first bullet point here. The majority of enemy teams feature some sort of super tank, whether this be like a Braum support, Sejuani jungle, Scion top. I'm just trying to think of meta things right now. You know what I mean? Like, the majority of enemy teams will have some sort of super tank, and I don't think I need to explain how valuable true damage is against super tanks. So, regardless, if you guys, you know, you're like, Willie, all these points are retarded, you know, like against tanks alone, like if nothing else, if the enemy team has a tank, Conqueror will always be valuable. So that's another reason why you want to cop Conqueror. And another thing I want to say, like, obviously extended fights with people, don't get me started. If you get in like a 10 to 20 second team fight, like the damage is not even comparable. There's a reason why yesterday I did 9,500 converted true damage in a game, and like, you know, people are like that, Willie, that's 9,500 true damage. That's not the mitigated damage. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say 4,000, less than half of that, 4,000 of that was the mitigated damage. That 4,000 mitigated damage is still more than I've ever seen Press the Attack do. I've never seen Press the Attack do more than 3,500 damage in a game, ever. Right? So what I'm trying to say is Conqueror, as the game goes on, gets more and more valuable. I still want to say, though, Press the Attack is better early on. I'm not going to lie. I still think Press the Attack is extremely good early on because, you know, early game true damage doesn't matter because nobody's built armor yet, and base armor is still really, really low. But early game Press the Attack's good, but beyond that, Conqueror is better, and so... yeah, I think I've got enough illustrations to where you guys get the point. If you guys have any questions, you know, please let me know in the comment section below. Please, you know, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. I hope you guys learned a thing or two. I just basically had to get this off my chest because there's a lot of haters out there, you know. A lot. Willie's growing a few haters from the last video where people are like, you don't know what you're talking about, right? You don't understand the mitigated damage is the most important one. You don't understand that Press the Attack takes into account armor. It doesn't take into account armor. I know people, just trust me. Willie's got 200 IQ. I know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I will be the first to admit yesterday's video was kind of misleading, so I apologize if it confused any of you guys out there. So I hope this technical video was something you guys enjoyed. If you like to see me play my Udyr live, head over to my Twitch channel, which is law_WillieP, and yeah, and another little thing I want to add, I'll have another Unranked to Diamond series out sometime tomorrow, so stay tuned for that, boys. But yeah, Hope you guys learned something, and catch you later.